Okay, so we're going to go over the sewing materials that you're going to be able to use for your project. Now, this section over here has quite a bit of materials. Not everything here you'll probably be using, but there is a possibility that you might get creative, okay? So a couple of basic things before we get started, okay? We're going to start off actually at the top with the sewing bag. Now, for this unit, you're going to need to store everything in your sewing bag, okay? So you're going to borrow one and you're going to keep it into your bin, all right? My suggestion is to possibly put your name on it. If you take a little piece of tape and put it on it, it's absolutely fine. It's just plastic, so I'll come over and I'll show you, okay? They're just plastic bags, all right? So please be careful that you don't lose stuff, okay? So that's first. The thread that you're going to be using, all right? Now, there are two different kinds of threads because there are two different kinds of needles that you can request for. For the main project, you're going to be using this kind of thread, okay? It's a thicker thread. I use that because most people are learning to sew during this unit. There are some, students that already know, and that's absolutely fine. When you are doing the practice, I would suggest you use this one. When you're doing your focus, if you would like to use the thinner thread and a thinner needle, that's absolutely fine. Requesting a needle. Okay, so we're gonna go over here and I'm gonna show you how you request a needle. All right, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna come in here and this little paper in here, okay, is your request. All right, it says, I'm requesting a needle. I promise to take good care of the needle. I will not lose the needle, needle to hurt anyone while I have it. When I am not using it, it will remain pinned to my project or to a piece of felt in my sewing bag. I promise to return the needle after I'm done. If I do not return my needle, I understand I will not earn all my possible points for my unit. All right, after you've understood it, you've read it, you're going to put your name on it, your period, and your signature, and you're going to give it to me. I will then hand you over a needle, okay, and this will get posted up on the board until you are returned my needle, okay? So that's what this is. All right, fabric. Actually, no, before we get to fabric, how much thread you're gonna be using. All right, so there's different kinds of threads in here. My suggestion is that you only need the length of the table at a time, okay? I don't want you getting more because I've done this project many, many, many years. What happens is that people get their thread tangled, okay? Now, when you're threading the needle, I don't do a double, okay? Because it's thicker thread. If I was using the thin thread, I will double up, but we're only using one thread, so that's why one is absolutely enough, okay? When you're done, please return it back in, push it back in. Okay, if you want, you can get a couple of threads. Like, I would suggest if you're doing this practice, you probably need about 2 threads for this, okay? Fabric. All right, so I do have fabric pieces in here that you can use, all right? So they're different pieces. Notice how they lie flat, okay? I would like you to keep them lying flat, all right? You may use ribbon, absolutely fine for this project. Fabric pieces down here. Okay, so if you notice about this video, they're all organized. I like them to remain organized, okay? The 2 bins on this side here have larger pieces, all right? Larger pieces, kind of bigger than your hand, all right? The green one here are scraps. They're small, itty bitty, okay? But if you have a piece that is smaller than your thumb, throw it out, all right? Last bucket's on the bottom. That is my yarn. We're not using it technically for our project, for our practice, but if you want to use them for your project, that's fine. Last but not least, beads and buttons, okay? Now for this practice, I am not going over how to work on beads or buttons, but if you'd like, you may add them, okay? They're not here for you to go through and be like, oh, I just want to, feel them, make them, whatever. No, just don't do that. How we kind of work with them, if you're adding some beads, my suggestion is you sew through your fabric, put the bead on, sew back in, okay? If you're doing a button, you gotta kind of see what kind of button you got. All right. Same thing. Come up through the one, go down through the other one. That's kind of funky. Cool. All right. So that is your option. Everything, remember, goes into your sewing bag. Anything that falls out could possibly be picked up and thrown away. All right. Don't forget that when you're using a needle, you want to make sure that you request for it. Okay, that is the whole section.